Hello, so let's go ahead and add iteration number 3, adding another slider to allow the user to provide both a value for the red component of the color and a green component for that color. So I'm gonna start again with the storyboard with the view. So I switch to the storyboard. I already have the red slider and I have my view, so I need to add another slider. So from the object library, I'll go here and search for slider and bring in the second slide. So here is my second slider. I'll give some distance between it and the other one. And switching to the attributes 0 to 1, and you can start from a slider 0, that's fine. In the minimum, I want to give a visual to the user that this is your green, so I'll set it to the green. And for the thumb, I can choose it from here, but there's already a pre-selected one, so I wanted them to look the same. So here is my green. Now that I did this, let's bring in the assistant editor so I can establish the connections. I need an outlet connection, so I'll click on the slider and drag. So here is the insert outlet. So this is an outlet, and I'm going to call it slide green. The type is UI slider. You should make sure that the type is the same as the component you want to connect. Sometimes, especially if we have more than one component and they're very close to each other, you may click on the wrong one. So the type here will be a confirmation that you actually clicked the correct one. Then connect, and it add here the second variable, slide green. This is my change color function, and we had a conversation in the overview on whether when I connected the green slider, whether it should connect to that same function or if I should make a new one. And as I mentioned in the overview video, if the task is the same, then all the actions should connect to the same function. If the task will change, then you should make another function. If the data change, then the same function stays the same, because a function represents a set of instructions that can apply to multiple data and so on. So to connect the green slider to the same function, you can do it two ways. The function is already connected to the interface builder. If you hover over it, you see the function is connected to the red slider. You see the plus next to the that shows up when you hover over, so you can drag from that plus sign all the way to your interface builder, and you see it highlights the green slider, so you can connect it to the green slider there. Now if you hover over that circle, you see there are two sliders that are connected to that function. You can also connect from the slider to the function, but notice that you can connect either. If you go here, it says insert a new one, so this is not the one you want to do. I probably need to unfold the function, so let me unfold it so we can see it's a block. And maybe because I already have it as a connection, so yeah, so once you drag, you see how it has a block and highlighted the entire function, and there's on the lower right corner it says connect action. So you can either go from the slider to an existing function and connect an action, or you can go from the controller to the interface builder and make the connection. When you right click on the view controller, you can see here now the change color function is connected to two components, a value changed for the green and a value changed for the red. Another thing, if the event changes, then you need a new function. So the value change, because this function is connected to a value change, and that's why the value change was chosen by default. But if you want another event, then you need another function for that event. So inside, now that I made the connection, let's go back to the regular editor to just have some room. You don't have to do that if you're developing, but I want to have a clean space for you as you watch this. So there are three steps. So the first step is to retrieve the value of the slider. I have an instruction here that retrieves the red, so I need to add another one to retrieve the green. It's going to be exactly the same. Instead of a red, it will be green. So I'll say let. So I know now I need to have a memory location. I'm going to call that memory location green value. You can call it anything you want. We call that, by the way, identifier. So the word green value here is an identifier that identifies a memory location or a variable. Then I need to retrieve the value of the green slider, which is connected here through this slide green variable. So I'll say slide green dot to access the members of that value, and then the word value or the property value will give me the actual value of the green. Now that I have a green value in memory, instead of passing on 0 to the initializer of the color, I want to pass on the green value. But as we did with the red, the initializer requires a CG float type called graphics float type, and the value gives me only float. Swift is very strict on type, so I have to explicitly make the conversion. Luckily, there is a function that does that for us, so I'll say CG float and open parentheses and type the value of your green value. As you can see here, it is float, and then close the parentheses. So now I passed on a green value in addition to the red value. The new color now contains the effect of both. The third step is not going to change, assigning that color to the background color of the color view. That step does not change. So let's go ahead and stop the current app in the simulator, compile, build, and install a new app with the changes that we made. So now here is an app with the two sliders. So to run my tests first, let's make sure that the red is working. So I take the green into 0, put my red into 1, so here is the same red, put my red into 0, and I get the black. Now let's test the additions we made. So here is the green, and green 0, I get black, put the green into 1, and I get full green. So I get that as well. Now let's see if I put full red and full green, I get the yellow color. You can switch both, change them both a little bit. You get darker green, you can get a bit of an orange to the yellow, and so on. So both of them are working, and you can make changes to the color. So the user can move slowly to construct any degree of color that they are interested in. So that's iteration number 3. As you can see, in iteration 2, we did a lot of work to set up the modules, but now we're just adding to it so it moves a bit quickly. The next iteration wants us to add the remaining two components, the blue component and the alpha component. So hopefully you can see now and you know how to do it. We just need to add the sliders, retrieve the values and make the connections, retrieve the values, replace the 0 and the 1 with those values, and we'll be done. So we'll do that in the next iterations.